since the one of us that knows the most about that is Mick, he's going to...
Well, I don't know the most about it, but I just thought about it a little bit, probably more than what everyone here has, because I get paid to do it. We're going to make a little bit of a shift here on the agenda where we've talked a little bit about, here's some common principles. These are things that probably are not going to change regardless of economic circumstances. Because it's about how people relate, how people give in general. What we're going to do now for much of the time, and I'll try to abbreviate as much as I can, but much of the time is to tell you about some trends that we see in place. And we might be right, we might be wrong, because really what this is anecdotal. We sat down as a team, we said, what's happening? And we put some names to them. Okay? And I don't want to talk about this to be critical of any organization, because we're not going to be critical. What we want to do is talk about what we see organizations are doing in response to some economic challenges here, and also what donors are looking at in terms of organizations. Some of these have changed. Okay? April 10, 1912 is, okay? These are things that we see organizations doing. What happened on April 10, 1912? Anybody know?
Titanic.
The Titanic. What part of the Titanic?
What part of it?
The Titanic sank on April 14, 1912. Okay. A lot of people think that an iceberg killed all those people. Right? Iceberg didn't kill anybody on the Titanic. Why did all those people die on the Titanic? Cold water, yeah.
I believe that it was unsinking water.
Ken just said it.
They left port without enough lifeboats. Okay? That's why those people were killed. Had nothing to do with the iceberg. Okay? Yeah, they were cocky. Yeah, they thought that they had that divine right to exist, but they didn't have enough lifeboats. Right? So the question for organizations, and lots of organizations are asking themselves right now, is, do we have enough lifeboats? Are we going to get to where we want to be? It might take longer than what we originally wanted, but we need to make sure that we have enough lifeboats. What are some of those lifeboats? The resources, the internal capacity, being very, very careful with the money that you're spending, building relationships with key people so that when you come out of this, and answering that key question, are we going to be around in 3 years? Okay. And when money's tight, it's human nature to say, okay, we're going to make it to next payroll, and then we're going to make it to the next payroll, and then make it to the next payroll. Okay. I'd encourage you as organizations, think 3 years out. And what do we need to have in place now and start getting in place to be ready in 3 years? Okay. That's what donors want to hear. Eorism. Who knows who Eeyore is? Okay. Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Eeyore. There isn't any money out there anyways, so why am I going to ask? Okay. Fatalism. We won't even try because it's fuel to even do it. Okay. There isn't any money. Okay. There are more anecdotes that I've heard in the last year of people making surprisingly large gifts than ever before. Okay. Is there a reality that people don't have as much? Yes. Is it a reality that people continue to give very, very, very generously? Absolutely. And when you're looking at, the $300 billion in the pie chart early on, 2% down. That's it. From 1 year, 2% down in overall charitable giving. Okay? When you're 2% up, are you dancing around like Tigger? No. 2% down. Don't be an Eeyore. Okay? Bob Marleyism, what do I mean by that? Famous song?
I'm thinking Head in the Cloud.
Close. We got a little bit too cute here. Maybe we were spending too much time with Bob Marley concert, but let's get together and be all right. Now, there is a mergerism, if you will. Okay? Lots of organizations talking to each other about how they can collaborate more than ever before. And they do that we see that really for two reasons, okay? One is that they say, we aren't going to be around. We're not going to make it to New York because there's too many icebergs and we don't have enough lifeboats. Okay? So we better start talking to another organization just to make sure that our mission continues. And other organizations take the same idea of merging, but they say, you know what, we might be able to enhance our mission. We might be able to overall increase what we're trying to do by merging with another organization as well. So one is really a message of survival, one is really a message of increasing their mission. Okay? But really it's a mergerism. Magic handshakeism. First of all, there's no such thing as a magic handshake. But we see a lot of organizations saying, you know what, if we found that magic thing that we could do, that one magic thing that we could do, might be a handshake, maybe we need to hire somebody to come and do this, but that one magic handshake, and if we found that person with that magic handshake, all of our problems will be answered, okay? Point being, there is not one thing that you can do. There's a lot of things that you can do. And there becomes a real opportunity to try some things that you might have been scared to do before. And that's okay. Because it's not going to be one thing that's going to save you. It's not going to be one thing that's put you out of business. Mulliganism.
Try it again.
Let's try it again. Okay? We might have messed up before. We might have hired the wrong people. We might have had some problems in the past. But you know what? We got a fresh start. That's really good for organizations to have that. Particularly organizations who've had to lay off people. That's a very, very difficult thing to do sometimes. But every time there is an opening, there is a new opportunity too. Okay? So it's a time to start over, start fresh, new thinking, new activities, new ideas. Dire straits ism. The band Dire Straits. Okay? Think back to the 80s. The band Dire Straits had a famous song.
Money for nothing.
Money for nothing. Right? And what? What's the next phrase? Chicks for free. Money for nothing and chicks for free. Okay? This is a real technical issue, and I had someone point this out to me, and it turned out to be relatively true. Is that there is with nonprofits, there tends to be a squeezing of your vendors. Okay? Particularly with IT vendors or with accounting vendors or construction vendors. We want you to do more for the same amount of money, okay? And that's not necessarily bad. I'm not saying that's bad, okay? I'm saying it can be bad, but you have to be careful with that. For two reasons. Number one is you want to be careful that you don't become the evenings and weekend client, right? If you're a good paying client, then you can get the first attention. You want to be the number one priority on your vendor list. The other thing is if you start offshoring, if you will, certain activities of your organization that you should really be doing in-house. Okay? I'm thinking accounting services. I'm thinking of setting up your information technology structure. That there is a danger that you will become, they won't be working for you, you will be working for them, and you'll never be able to part ways. Okay? That's not necessarily a good relationship to have with a vendor. So keep that in mind as you consider ways to save money on your budget. Okay? That there's pluses and minuses to